Welcome to Audrey's World. It's me, Audrey Oyer, and I'm your host. Audrey's World is a podcast where I get to chat with people and hear all about their lives, but more importantly, hear about their daydreams and what they're dreaming about. And we get to just learn all the ooey gooey, juicy pieces of their life, who they are, and their aspirations. And that's exactly all I want to talk about. So if you're down for that, you're really going to love this podcast, and especially this podcast episode. Today's guest is Gina Diver. Woo! Gina. So that's my warm welcome to Gina, and a warm welcome to all the listeners for today's episode. Gina and I crossed paths during COVID. I worked for her, and she sparked the creativity in me. So we can all thank her for getting this podcast where it is today, or, helping to be a part of it in some meta, insane way that I can't even wrap my head around, with the universe and timing and people and places and things and coincidences. So thanks, Gina. We get into so much today. Obviously, we get into working together. If you know Gina, then you know she's an entrepreneur. Started her own business at 17, guys. Insane. And it was the floral design business, to be exact. Not only do we get to hear about her business, but we hear about life and all of its iterations and forms and how we got to where we are now. And it is just a good reminder that not everyone has the exact same life. And thank God. One, thank God. Two, it doesn't mean that because our lives are different that anyone is less desirable. And you hear my little philosophy that life is an art form. If you're down for that, down for any of those topics, intrigued about any of those topics, it's a great episode for you today. So I'll stop yapping. I'll shut my trap for now, and let's get into the episode. Love it. It's very cute. I mean, I have a million questions for you, and I'll probably just launch into 100 of them, but
I'm ready.
What is your North Carolina? Do you have a color scheme? Because your condo in Findlay, the black and white, all of that was so insane and so cool. So yeah. I'm sure you have a vibe or a theme to your home. So I'm so curious what it is.
Yes. Okay. So I actually live right over the border in South Carolina.
You're in South Carolina.
Yes. So Jeremy works he works in Charlotte.
Okay.
And then we live right over the border.
Amazing.
But I love the fact that my address is South Carolina.
Yeah. It's more beachy. It just sounds more beachy.
It's 15 minutes closer to the beach. So in Findlay, my aesthetics were very black and white, like you said, much more modern. We sold everything. I'm talking everything before we moved. And we just went totally different with this house, which was way fun.
I bet.
I'm gardening now.
I love that. Have you heard of I think it's Martha Stewart. She has a quote. If you want to be happy for a year, get married. If you want to be happy for a lifetime, have a garden. Have you heard that?
I'm so excited about my garden. So my mom and dad came down from Ohio in March. So I actually had a little event here in March, which was very fun. And so they came down, and we, in true Gina fashion, we were doing an event and re-landscaping the yard.
Yeah.
And planting my garden. Why not?
Why not?
Not surprised whatsoever.
No. But if there's one thing that is there's a million things that are incredible about you, is you can have all of those things happening at one time, but still be very calm, very, guys, we got it, or calm, but also flexible. If it changes, that's fine. If it doesn't turn out maybe perfect, or if something else happens, I feel you can go with the flow like that, whereas I don't know if I can always be that way.
I'll just work really hard until it's perfect.
Yeah. Especially for sure, I'll say work wise, if you want it to be that perfect thing, but the other things, or
yeah, obviously life doesn't always go perfect, as you know, but you just if I can't control it, then it's fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah, we'll roll with the punches, roll with what we got. But oh
Yeah,
my God, I mean, how are you? Are you enjoying life in South Carolina now?
yeah, I do. I
Yeah,
love every second of it.
good.
And it's been like, it's amazing what sunshine does. Like, I didn't know that we could have sunshine this much.
No, right?
Well, I have a tan already.
Crazy,
Yeah.
crazy.
So I do. I love it. Very excited. We have like incredible, we're on Rocking Chair Lane is our street. And it
What
is
a Hallmark movie.
everything and then some of that. So
Oh,
like out front, there's like a big, huge open park, and there's always kids out there playing. And then like in the evenings and like on the weekends, there's always people hanging out on like the sidewalk, and we'll like just, roll up and chit chat. And sometimes people stay for like, I don't know, 2 hours, and sometimes they stay for 10 minutes. And it's like everybody's like walking their dog and just hanging out. And
yeah,
everybody's just really, really sweet. I know that you don't always get that. So I'm just very grateful that that is what we have. So
yeah.
I just have gotten to know some of our neighbors, and I've gotten like to be pretty good friends with them, which is
Good.
really fun.
What a great change. Like when you are making a big like life change like that, there are so many things that could easily be out of your control.
Right.
But how amazing to have taken the gamble kind of going somewhere new, going somewhere where you're not that familiar with people. There's not a ton of family, or, it's just such a different life than what you had back in
Yes.
Ohio. To then take the gamble and then it be that friendly, to like feel comfortable, to have all the sun and just like this different life that you're like, I didn't know it could be this good. I'm sure there's maybe still some times of like how we're like figuring it out wise, but does it feel like the risk kind of paid off in some ways already?
Yeah. I
Maybe
mean,
not risk,
well,
but the decision, the gamble.
I was terrified to move and
Yeah.
excited all at the same time. And moving happened so fast that now I look back and I'm like, I don't really even know what I was doing, you
Yeah.
know? And so I think it was good though, because then you can't think about being scared. You just do it. And so you get down here, and there are times when I just like take a moment, and like today I'm running around doing some errands, and I have this like cute little like area that I like to go to, there like this little olive oil store.
Yeah.
And it just like, oh my gosh, like I'm here. And it's about weekly that it just hits me like, oh my gosh, like this is just so different
Yeah.
than, well, and even like I talk to my neighbors, and I'm like, you don't understand. Like you're seeing a way different version of me than what I was like for, goodness, like 20, almost 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm around, I'm at
Yeah.
home, and I'm gardening
Mhm.
and taking a walk on a daily basis. So it's like one of those, yeah, it was terrifying. I didn't know what it was going to look like. You never, we didn't know anybody down here at all.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
and there are days where you feel like a little bit of a fish out of the water, where you don't quite figure out where know where you fit in. Like you enjoy the people around you, but you
Mhm.
haven't really like settled. Um,
Yeah.
and so that can be sometimes hard, but also like exciting all at the same time. But yeah, it happened. We found out we were moving in right at the end of September, and we were here Thanksgiving.
I was going to say like around Thanksgiving, right? Oh
Yes.
my gosh. Yeah.
So, and I sold everything. I'm like, I'm getting a fresh start. And then sold my
Yeah.
business literally a week
Yeah.
before we moved.
Wow.
And we signed the day before we packed up and left. It was a whirlwind that, you look back and you're like, oh, like I really, I don't have any regrets in the process, other than like, I probably should have got rid of a couple things, but
Yeah.
it's fine. Amazon's here every day.
Yeah. Gina is a purger. Like we are
Oh,
not
that
keeping
feels so
things.
good. It feels so good to purge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh my
think
gosh.
because it did happen, because some people like they know they're moving and then they have a whole year to
Mm-hmm.
prepare and all the stuff. And we got rid of so much stuff that we looked at like movers, and then finally I was like, I am not paying all this money to bring down stuff I don't even really want.
Mm-hmm.
So we just got rid of it all, and we came down in a U-Haul, one
Mm-hmm.
U-Haul, and three pickup trucks.
Wow.
So we'd like tailgated with our parents down straight down here, and if it didn't fit, it didn't come.
It's gone. Oh my
So
gosh.
it was just kind of a wild whirlwind, but it
I
was
bet.
such a great adventure. I'll never forget, like, because we like tailgated, and I was like leading the way, which was like so stressful because I'm trying not to
Okay.
go too fast, not trying to go
Yeah.
too slow, and like not get lost, and all the stuff. But I remember getting to like Virginia, West Virginia, like seeing the mountains, and it just hit me like a ton of bricks in the most incredibly wonderful and like terrifying way. Like, oh my gosh, it's
Yeah.
just happening.
Oh my God. Yeah, like
And I was
I
all by
love that there was an exact moment where it pinpointed where it's like, this is not the geography that I'm used to seeing.
myself.
Like, oh my God.
Yeah, yeah. It was the mountains that hit me. As soon as we hit the mountains, I was all alone in the truck, and it was kind of neat that I was all by myself because
Hmm.
I really took it in. So that was
I bet.
it was like a moment I'll never forget.
Oh my God, I'm sure. What a whirlwind. Selling everything, selling a business,
Selling a
trying to
business, I mean, I
navigate
started
all
when
of
I
that.
was, gosh, I started it when I was 17.
Yeah,
I mean, it
that's
was,
crazy.
and I'm not 17 anymore. What was that?
Well, yeah, you had mentioned your neighbors now are seeing such a different side of you, and you can like have those daily walks or like get out and about where I'm sure this is so like a mixed feeling, a mixed bag of feelings because I got to know you even more and like in your day to day when you were running the business. And like, yeah, there's so much being an entrepreneur
Yeah,
that you are always on. You are always, there's always a notification. There's always something in the back of your mind that you could probably do, or, you like get that last minute order. And I know for you, it was always like, I mean, that's
yeah,
revenue, that's
it was,
income. Like I had this planned, but like that's
yeah,
money at the end of the day. So
yes,
I'm sure like that, and then I know there are so many other factors too, but I can't imagine like your body's and mind's reset right now that it's going through where you can actually have a day to like relax
yeah,
and not be thinking like that, not be on
yes.
and like just enjoy an errand.
Well, this is the thing. And so Jeremy and I, there's been multiple times we've sat in the back patio, and we are like, so, and I'll tell you the story. Like, it was like the fact that we are down here and how it all happened is it's one of those like will forever reminisce about it, where
Mhm.
it happened, and it was one of those like, okay, so there's a lot of times you like try to get something, you try to do something, and deep down like it's something you really want,
Mhm.
but deep down I probably shouldn't be doing this.
Mm. Mhm.
And I was afraid of that. I was
Mm.
afraid that I would look back and regret this move.
When you say feel bad about it, is it like guilt or is it just
Guilt,
like
leaving family behind, selling my business. Oh my gosh, like,
Mhm.
am I going to regret this?
Mm.
And
Mhm.
just like, I've only lived in Finley.
Yeah.
And so it was like one of those, like, what if I hate it? And what if this goes horrible and I'm miserable? And I think back and like, I just want to go back there, and
Mhm.
just all those feelings. And then we'll sit and we'll talk about like how everything happened was complete confirmation that this was supposed to happen. And
Mhm.
it wasn't something that we like forced to happen.
Yeah.
And so and I mean, I don't know if you knew this, I was really sick. Like, I'm
Mhm.
talking really sick, in and out of the emergency room.
Yeah.
I was, and this started to happen. I would say I started to start feeling terrible. It was last year, yeah, 2025, like late winter. And
Mm.
we were actually visiting your parents.
Yes. Oh, my mom just said you were like
Yes.
what was it like not passing out, but felt like you were going to, like, just like
It
it
was
was,
horrible. My
yeah.
chest would be like racing. I felt like I was going to pass out. I
Ugh.
felt like almost like disoriented, and I would have these like episodes. So that's almost when it started, was that trip. And then it would like go away for a little bit. And then as time went on, it happened more and more and more. And I was like last year, the day before my birthday, I was in the emergency room because I thought I was having a heart attack. It was awful. And you know me, like I'm not someone that goes to the doctor. Like,
Gina's persevering. Gina is avoiding
like,
like anything like that at all
fine,
costs.
drink more water, you know?
Yeah.
And so I was like super sick. Like I would have to work and then I would lay down because I just was like, I felt terrible. I had no energy. And I didn't, I mean, I was terrified that something was wrong with me. And then on top of it, last January, I had melanoma. So that whole thing happened. And
Mhm.
so last year was just like, what is going on? And like I was terrified.
Yeah.
And so went through the summer. I still kept working my tail off. And I have an interesting personal situation with my children and all that kind of stuff. And that was like very stressful on me. But like by the fall time, I would only be able to work like 3 hours a day without having to lay down. And I felt like I was slowly dying.
Yeah.
And
God, I bet because that's so like if you had 3 hours to rest, like you're usually just the exact opposite. Or
yes,
you, yeah. So that
I
I'm
was
sure was,
terrified.
yeah.
So
Oh,
obviously I went to the doctor, we did
yeah.
blood tests, we did CAT scans, we did MRIs, we did x-rays. I mean, it was just
Gina.
wild.
Oh
It
my
was wild.
God.
So as the year went on, it all got worse. And I went to the doctors, I was at specialists, I went everywhere. And they're like, we don't know what's wrong with you. And I'm
No.
like, well, there's clearly something wrong with
Well, I'm dying, so figure it out.
me. Like, there's clearly something wrong. And so like, right before we left, it was about a month before we moved. We had just found out we were moving, and I was just really frustrated and fed up with just, oh, we don't know. And so I got hooked up with a functional doctor,
Yeah.
and she, I believe, saved my life
Hmm.
and did some crazy, crazy stuff. Just like releasing like PTSD, like places around, and just
Hmm.
like just released a lot of stress. And she's like, your nervous system is basically like wrecked.
I bet.
And, all your blood tests, like we did like crazy blood tests, we did all this stuff, and like they did a bunch of things on me. And she's like, your nervous system is like 1000% wrecked. And she's like, if you would continue to just live the life that you just continue to live, I don't know what's going to happen to you. She goes, you're like driving yourself into an early grave with everything that you're holding on to and working your like self to death and worrying about things and being in situations that are like completely destroying you.
Hmm.
So she worked with me hardcore. I went there like 4 days a week,
Yeah.
and she got me healthy enough in a month to feel like we could move and I could handle it. And then she got me hooked up with a doctor down here in Charlotte. And it's like, I say it jokingly, which it's not a joke, but like I don't look for an emergency room anymore.
Yeah.
And but I always knew where there was an emergency room. I was terrified every single day, and like
Mm.
some days I couldn't breathe. And so, on top of all this moving, I guess is I've had this like health journey.
Hmm.
And so I've started to like learn and understand my body, understand like different techniques that just like take me right out of not being able to breathe or feeling like I'm going to pass out. And it has completely, I mean, so not only have I moved my location, my whole body has,
Everything.
and I'm still on that journey. Obviously, I mean, anybody that's gone through something like that, it doesn't
Yeah.
happen like in a few months. But looking back, I've come such a long way.
I bet. I
And
mean,
so it's
that's
been pretty incredible.
crazy. Yeah. Oh my God, for a trillion reasons.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, I saw you at I'll say in the midst of running business, like personal thing, like all of that. And I was with you for maybe like a year around that time. I can't imagine the continued impact over like the years after that, what that would
People would
take. And
tell
like,
me, you're like, this is going to catch up with you. When I was going through all of that, like, just be careful. Like, it's going to catch up with you. Like, all the
did
stress.
I say that?
No, many people said that.
Oh, oh, yeah.
And I'm
Yeah,
like,
I was like, "Wait, what's that?"
oh. I'm
But
like, no,
no,
I'm bulletproof.
the
I
body
know.
is insane. Like what your body holds on to. I don't
It
know if
does
you've
not
ever
forget.
heard of the book The Body Keeps a Score.
Yes.
It comes with a huge warning because insane shit happened to me while I was reading that book because I was like, "Oh my God,
Yeah.
like whatever." So maybe don't read it,
Yeah.
but it's like insane. And I think that there are so many different like remedies to things that yeah, it might be outside of like Western medicine or what we typically see as things that you should do if you're in that situation, but at the end of the day, my belief is if it works, it
Yeah.
works. Keep doing it and try it. And I'm sure all of this is such a reset for your mind, your body,
Yes.
your spirit. Like, I'm sure you're just energized in different ways or just can like rest and relax a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah. It's so true. I mean, it's one of those like, it's good for me to look back because there are days, I don't care who you are, there's days where you're like, I should be farther than this, or
Oh, yeah.
I should, have lost more weight, or
Mhm. Mhm.
I thought I'd feel a little bit different, or, all this stuff, or I should be better.
Yeah.
But then when you like look back and you are like, okay, well, I have come a long way, and just be patient
Mhm.
because I didn't, and like my doctor, she's like, well, you didn't get here overnight. You're not going to get out of it overnight. And sometimes you just need to remember like those little wins are huge because you're moving forward, not backward, because it was terrifying. And I was open to anything at that point because I was just trying to survive. And I'm
And
great.
get out of the ER. Like, no one wants to live their life in an ER.
Yes. So yeah, it's one of
Damn.
those like, yeah, I'm not where I want to be. And I do have days or moments that I'm like I don't want to feel like this anymore, but they're much more far and few between than they were. And my body is definitely resetting, which I'm
Yeah.
very grateful for.
I'm so glad you have that support though, and you have that help. And yeah, like I say this in a work sense a lot, but even CEOs don't know what they want to do. Like, like even business owners are just like like no one has all the answers to anything. We're never where we think we should be or the grass is always greener. Like
Right.
it doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what I want to do when I grow up.
Same. As I hinted, I really got to know you during COVID when we worked together. And I do feel like that was some insane kind of serendipitous moment in a lot of ways because when I originally like came to work for you, you were moving locations, like office locations. And I just came to help for like 2 days because my mom, everyone in the house, I had lost my job and
You
everyone
just
was
want to
like,
get home.
Audrey, you're so annoying. Like, you can't be here anymore. Find something to do. So then my mom found you. I don't know if you reached out to her or what happened, but we got connected that way. And then I ended up working with you for like months and months and then in different capacities
Yeah.
too.
I know. Isn't that wild? I think it's fun to like look back and be like, oh my gosh, like maybe at the moment it didn't make sense, but it just like it all worked out the way it was supposed to.
Yes.
And you and I got close and
Mm-hmm.
you were so special to me and like just the crazy time. And then you think like everything that's happened. And then you realize all the people that come in and out of your life at the right times.
Mm-hmm.
And you look back and you appreciate that even
Mm-hmm.
more just because like I don't believe anything happens just by coincidence. I just think that sometimes you have to recognize it and see it as something just so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you don't recognize that in the moment. It takes like years to look back.
Oh, 1,000%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think of it as such a special time for like so many reasons, but Gina, I learned so much from you and you were very special to me too. And like I never thought I was anything creative, like, at all, and I only saw any of that because of you and working with you,
Love
and,
that.
like, I feel like I've learned so much about just, like, moving through life or thinking about things differently, like, being more intuitive in things, like, I could go entrepreneurship, like, I learned so much about different things in life, and it was all because of you, so I have to say a huge thank you.
You're welcome. I mean, you are talented, and I love that you did blossom a lot through that.
Mhm.
And I loved watching you get like super excited about something that you all of a sudden like it was like an aha, like, oh my gosh, I didn't know I loved flowers so much, or like I can do this.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. I came into that not liking flowers, and now I love them. I love, like, design. I feel like who knew I had a bit of a knack for it, and, like, yeah, it was so fun making arrangements for people, doing seeing a wedding and an event or, whatever it was come together. It was so exciting and so fun. And I guess one thing that maybe a misconception I think a ton of people have about being a florist, or at least my experience with
Uh-huh.
you, was that it's some like hallmarky job where it's just like you just snip the stems, put it together, and like, it's very like that.
I had $1 for every time someone was like, oh my gosh, your job has to be so fun. And I'm like, yes, but you don't,
Hmm.
there's a lot of not fun things about it. And usually it's like, okay, we need the bucket, clean the bucket, unpack the boxes, and we get this out and all this kind of stuff. And we're just going like 100 miles an hour. And I don't
Hmm.
think I ever took the time, like you just didn't have that. And no busy like floral designer is just popping things together.
Hmm. Hmm.
They're going 1,000 miles an hour because they have to.
And it was like like we had dirt everywhere. I think
Oh my
people think
God.
it's like very like clean. Like no, there was glue, there was dirt, there was water, there was like anything all over you at any
We were
given
always
point.
dirty. Like my nails were never clean. Everything was disgusting.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Gosh,
I
but
feel like
true.
yeah. Or even that like the events. I think that was one thing that was really cool that I learned from you was I had been to weddings before, but again, I was never like looking at the flowers or like flowers or design like that in a certain way, but I think it was just so cool how what's the vibe? What is the color like just for all these different things? What are the flowers in season? How each arrangement is different in every event, whatever it may be. It's not just like this cut and dry, like, okay, we always have roses and we arrange them this way. But I think people, I don't know, I feel like a lot of people maybe go into that thinking it's kind of cut and dry with how
Yeah.
you arrange things or move through, and you don't.
Well, and I've always said, and I've taught classes, I've done all kinds of stuff, and I've always said there's a really big difference between a floral arrangement and a floral design. A floral arrangement is flowers in some sort of container or vase. A floral design creates a story. So, I mean, if you like, yeah, anybody could like, and it kills me inside, like go to Kroger or something like
Hmm.
that and like just throw something into a vase. But if you can like take something and you like literally create a story and for events or whatever, you take those little pieces that you're making, those are stories, but then like those little arrangements are also part of the whole story. And at that point, you're not a florist anymore, you're a floral designer,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of florists where
Hmm.
they're just making flowers and they're not seeing big picture or they're not trying to create. I mean, when I would make arrangements for like even just a daily delivery, I mean, I would be very passionate about when they get that, it's not just flowers, like, and people always would tell me like there's just something so different about it. And I just couldn't stop like looking at it. My eye just kept going all over the place. And there's a very big difference. And I don't know. I mean, it just was in me.
Yeah.
And it's not something I learned. It just happened. And I was passionate about it. And when I designed, it came from deep, deep down within, which was very important to me.
Yeah.
I poured my heart and soul into everything.
Yeah.
So,
Mind, body, spirit,
yeah.
everything.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Everything.
But I mean, and then you can, and like you said, it's like more than just flowers. Like
Mhm.
even our home here. And I want to get rid of everything. And thankfully, we had an opportunity to do that. Not everybody does, but we did, thankfully. And, like, I'm not just going to throw my furniture from one house to the next and be like, okay, well, I need to make it work. I mean, I did make some of it work, but just because it was the right piece and I just kept it. But even like, people are like, what's your like style? And I'm like, what's ever appropriate?
Yeah.
Like,
The space. What are we
yeah,
yeah, in what
yeah,
container?
like
Like, yeah.
all different kinds of designs. And to me, this like our home reflects a new beginning, something
Mhm.
that feels light and airy and colorful and happy. And, even when we like drove into this neighborhood for the first time, I'm like, it's like a happy neighborhood, it's
Mhm.
just happy. Like there's kids playing everywhere. And so I took that like almost like feeling in that story, and then I just tried to create that around here. And it just is one of those, like, I think sometimes people think too hard about what they're doing when it comes to design, and like who cares about the trends, like what
Or
do
I
you
feel
love?
like, yeah. Yes, it's what do you love? I hate when things are just like there's no personality or none of no you like in the space or anything. It
Yeah,
drives me up a wall. But
yeah,
then I think we get so into those like almost stereotypes kind of as people ask you like what's your style, and I think it's like, well, I'm always a modern like, or I don't know, like whatever the different thing is. You're so right. Like, first of all, we all change, we all evolve, so your style can change and
yeah,
evolve. And yeah, take into consideration the environment. Are you in the mountains? Are you around kids? Are
right.
you in a city? Like, yeah, it's all things to like contribute into what you're
Yeah.
seeing and what you're feeling every day.
Well, right now I'm just on the verge of working on my downstairs bathroom, and I am making it Charleston inspired. I
Love it.
love Charleston. And so I am like, I'm closer, but I'm not quite
Yeah.
there yet. And so I'm like, you know what? I am going to go Charleston inspired in there and like create a story in there and, make sure it like flows obviously with the
Hmm.
rest of the home. But that's the story I want to create in that
I love
bathroom.
it. Okay, so what does take me into your brain a little bit? What does Charleston inspired mean in a bathroom?
Well, like color. So I'm going to do like a lot of color in there. So I'm
Hmm.
going to go and because I was going to go blue, but there's already a lot of blue going on in our house. So I was like, I'm going to do this like fresh, like green color. And so I'm going to do like just totally like from floor to ceiling, all of the baseboards and everything. And then we already have like some pretty tile in there. And then I want to like change all the hardware, and I don't have, we're not going to change the cabinetry, unfortunately. But I'm going to like take all that off and do like some stuff that has a little bit more like looks like it has a history to it. But then I always think like Charleston has a little bit of like a like unexpected, like elevated quirkiness.
Yeah.
So I want to add
Yeah.
like a little bit of like elevated quirkiness to it. And then
Uh-huh.
obviously I need to have some sort of like patterned floral in there. So I have
Yeah.
some area I'm going to do like a big pattern, like floral stool and like a real pretty rug. And then I'm going to put like orchids in there and all the
Mhm.
stuff. So, and then do like a big antique mirror and
Yep.
everything. So I feel
Yep.
like I'm going to try to like whole little bit of Charleston in there, a little bit of
Mhm.
story behind it, so it looks like it
Mhm.
had been there quite a while.
I
But
love
really
it.
polished.
Yeah. And like,
Thought,
oh my gosh, people are maybe hearing that and they're like, how does it all work? And I'm like, guys, it will be perfect. Like
yeah,
it will be better than anything
the
you can ever
texture,
imagine. Yeah.
texture and
Textures.
color.
Yes. Yes. Oh my God. I can't wait. You'll have to send me a picture or
Yeah,
something of
I'm
it, but
so
that's
excited.
amazing.
I can't dance on it.
Yeah. Wow. Well, and I'm curious. I know like you started your business so young and like you said, you kind of just got into it with passion, enlightenment, and just ready to like sink your teeth in and run with this. But can you maybe tell me a little bit about those early days to then, well, I'll wait for my follow-up question, but what were
Yeah,
those early days like and how did you even like start a
yes.
business at 17? That seems
Yeah.
crazy.
Well, I started in my parents' basement. So we have and on my dad's side had some family members that had some like floral businesses in the past, and what a couple of them were like farther away, and then there was one that was closer. And so when I was like 15 years old, I would go there, and I wasn't like good enough to like design obviously, so I unboxed unboxed like stuff for
Mhm.
them and for their like showroom and whatnot. And so I remember like, you're doing that and you're like kind of watching what they're doing. And then like unknowingly, I'm like thinking like, I wouldn't have done that, or like,
Mhm.
or at the end of the day, all like the, kind of the scraps they would throw on the floor, I would kind of like take them home and like piddle. And
Mhm.
I'd always, I mean, since I was a kid, I remember being in elementary school, like rearranging my mom's house to like have better aesthetic,
Yeah.
and creating like little happy little stories everywhere. And so that was always in me. I was like, I'm so not musical. Like I'm talking, I love music. I just think it's incredible that people have that. But I was so bad in music that I ended up getting kicked out of band when I was in middle school. But I had to have like an extra like specialty
Basic
credit. So they
credit.
put
Yeah.
me into a gifted art class to get me out of band, which I was totally cool with that.
Yeah.
So I've just always been very like artsy and all that kind of stuff. And then, so the older I got, I was like, what, 17? And I started, like, I had like a red Honda Accord, like this tiny
Mhm.
little thing. And so my mom and dad, and we have a whole family of like entrepreneurs in our blood.
Yes.
And so they helped me get my like vendor's license.
Mhm.
And so I would drive down to Columbus to this wholesale, like silk flowered place that's not even in business anymore. And I would pile my car to the ceiling with silk flowers. And I would drive it back to Findlay and I would go into their basement and I would just like put things together in arrangements. And so then I printed off these like little flyers on Microsoft Word or something like that. And so then I went around their neighborhood and I put all these flyers in the mailboxes and then I set up their basement. They had a big old basement and I set up, just different tiers and different cloths so that we could see the arrangements and invited people over so that like I had a spring one and that went really well. And then I had a Christmas one and that went really well. And then I graduated. And I actually went to interior design school for a very short time, decided I didn't like math that much, so I dropped out. But I had already started my business. Like I was already doing the flower thing. So came back, and that's when my mom and dad were like, "Well, we can open a store." And so that's in 2002, October 2002. I had a a little store. It's now like a little coffee shop in Findlay. And that's where it all kind of started. And then I banded out of there rather quickly. And then, so once I got into like a brick and mortar, that's when I introduced fresh flowers. So I didn't know anything. I remember I went to this class up in Cleveland because I was like, well, maybe I need to like learn a few things.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be like a 4-day thing. I went for like a day and a half and I'm like, this is stupid. Like, I am not going to design like this. And I left. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't want to learn this. And so I left, went back and just self-taught myself.
Amazing.
And like by trial and error and that was the kind of like the history. I mean, you just
Yeah.
grow, you learn to work with people and I think the thing that has I wouldn't call myself this like incredible businesswoman. Thankfully, my mother is really good at keeping books straight. And so she helped me do that for all these years. And then I was just really good at like trying to figure out all like what to put together, how to work with people and pricing and all that kind of stuff. And then she kept everything like very organized. And so we, worked together forever.
Forever. But it is like, I guess I don't love hearing you say you don't think of yourself as like a great
I
businesswoman
just can't
because,
run QuickBooks. That's what I'm saying.
but yeah, same. Like, but yeah, that's only like that's yes, like it's the revenue or like
Right.
keeping all of that. But a business is so much more than that. Like the
Right.
connections, the marketing,
I
like
can do
the
all that.
actual product. Like,
Yes.
yeah, you got that in the bag.
I just can't run QuickBooks.
Yeah, same.
So yeah,
Uh,
and my thing is, I mean, it's really interesting. Okay, so then you go on and you just grow and you grow and you grow and you learn and before you know it, I don't know, it's like, you're not really thinking about what you're doing. You're just so passionate about it. You just pour yourself into it. And like, to me, I would agonize over things just had to be exactly the way that I felt like it should have turned out. I want my customers and clients to be like, just like, oh my gosh. And then, and then sometimes they don't really care. So then, I mean, I spent years like, well, I'm just going to up the ante for myself. Like I'd work for like the Hancock Hotel and they would always be happy with everything. But I knew that I needed to up the ante every year. I needed to challenge myself. And at that point, the client's happy, but I almost had to prove to myself I could even do better next year. And I think that's what kept me going and growing is, I don't care if it's your personal life or your business or whatever, you have to like constantly be like reevaluating and then reinventing to grow. I think that was huge to my success was I never stayed stagnant.
Yeah. I think of it as like, or I saw it in a way of you were so creative that you would also like, I mean, you would come and decorate our house for Christmas. You would do that for so many other people, or they were like just certain events that you would always be a part of people's lives for and help coordinate in whatever way. But you would use the materials that you already have, but you would always do something different with it. And to me, like that was, yeah, almost in what you were saying, I envision it as you're just this level of creative where you were like, I can't do it the same way twice, sort of thing. Like,
They,
yeah. Well, and like some people that's what they expect, but you were like you challenge them to be like, guys, but we can make it better. Like,
yes.
and if you don't, I'll go back to the way that you want it. But I feel like you were always kind of encouraging people to look at what they had in a different way and like, how can we make it better? How can we make it different? So yeah, I'm not surprised that like you maybe did that for yourself or
Years to gain that I mean, I think that part
yeah.
of like good business and longevity of clients is they learned to trust me. And so
Mhm.
when I gave them kind of a off the wall idea, they were like, you know what? I
We know
trust
you can do it.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, but obviously you don't start out there, but you prove to them and you prove to yourself and you gain that trust that I understand you, like we did so many different houses and so many different businesses and everybody had a different aesthetic. And could not ever be about what I wanted to do. It had to be about like what I felt like was best for them.
Mhm.
And then when they understood that was my goal, they trust you at that point. And
Yeah.
then they allow you to like let your creative juices fly. And
Mhm.
that's always when the best stuff would happen is when people would allow me to be creative.
Yeah. Yeah. What's amazing to me, and I just feel like I have to say it, is Gina's like agenda or calendar was all just in her head forever. And like I just think that's the most
It
fascinating
still
part
is.
of
It's
it.
still
Like,
very much in my head.
it's incredible. It's
Yeah.
incredible.
I mean, I kept a calendar like of some sort. But I was so immersed in what I needed to do that I just knew I knew what came next.
It's like an event that you booked 6 months ago. You're like, oh, that's on Thursday. Okay.
Yeah,
And we have to start doing
yeah.
that. It's amazing. I want my brain to be like that.
I was so immersed from deep within me that I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I mean, I forget a lot of things. I just don't forget anything about that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Oh my God. I love it.
So yeah, so then I grew. I'll finish the
Yeah.
story. So I grew,
Yeah.
and all this. I thought I was going to do this forever. This is just what I was going to do. I don't know what else to do. I've never done anything else. I've never worked for somebody. Jeremy and I joke all the time. He's like, you would be fired in like 2 days. They don't tell me what I need to do. I'll be like, so I'm thinking this is,
Actually,
I have a different idea.
yeah. Have you considered?
Yeah, exactly. I just don't know what it would be like to not do this. And so that's kind of a weird place I'm in right now.
I
It's
bet.
like, I never ever imagined. And, when we were moving, my brother was like, you should try to sell your business. And I'm like, no, I'm not trying to sell my business. first of all, no one's going to buy, what's the business without me? And I would like totally like didn't value what I had actually built. And so when we were going to move, it wasn't for sale. And so it was what, 2 weeks before moving day. I had a client that was like, so my niece is like 23 and heard you're moving and really wants to get into the floral business. And, they want to talk to you. And I'm thinking like, whatever, like I did not take it serious. I almost blew the meeting off. I was like, I have so much stuff to do. This is not going to go anywhere, like
Yeah.
whatever. And we sat down and they were like dead serious. And they were like, well, what's the value of your business? I'm thinking like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So we had to scramble and like get numbers around and all this kind of stuff. And it was one of those like I didn't know what I was going to do when I moved. I just was going to let my stuff sit. And I knew I had these events yet this year. So it was like, well, I'm coming back for those events and
Right.
whatever. I'll figure it out later. But they came in and they're excited. They agreed to everything that, we talked about. And it was this huge burden that, I mean, I had a 2-story warehouse.
Yeah.
And then a 3,000 square foot,
Like,
front space.
yeah.
I mean, just 27 years of shit that I had
Yeah.
accumulated. And, I'm not a hoarder at home, but I am like the poster child of a hoarder at work. Like, you just never quite know, and you might need that.
Right. But in your defense, it came in handy a lot, those random things.
We would get stuff out that was like technically junk. And
Oh, and you would be like, and Audrey, it's okay. So in the warehouse, turn right. It's like the fourth corner, or it's this thing
under
where it's
like
like your
5
head is
feet.
amazing. Your mind of like, yes, and you're like, oh my gosh, I know exactly where it is. Okay, so pull that out. It'll go here.
I remember when somebody cleaned my warehouse, like tried to organize it for me, and I about lost it.
I bet.
It felt like my whole world like
It
fell away.
fired
I was like,
immediately.
you don't clean the warehouse ever.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's been like pretty wild. Like,
I
so
bet.
her and her husband bought it, and they're like the sweetest. They just had a baby.
Oh,
She's just adorable, and they're just like the sweetest couple, and they're so excited. And
I bet
so
it helps that like, you like the people. I think that would make all the difference in
yes,
helping to like get my mind shift somewhere.
I'll be honest, if I didn't like them, I wouldn't have sold it because to me, my business was never, I mean, obviously I needed to make a living, but let's just say this, if I could have done it, I would have been doing it for free because I loved it so much. It was killing me. I don't think it was my business it was a cluster of, it was a storm of personal and all the stuff, And so I worked my tail off, but if I didn't like them, I wouldn't have sold it. I would have let it die. I didn't sell my name. I
Good.
just couldn't. But I
Good.
sold like obviously all my stuff.
Hmm.
But then I also like I'm staying on for a year and like what do you call that? Like
Like consulting kind of.
consulting for a
Yeah.
year.
Hmm.
Been
Oh,
really
good.
good. And then I basically passed all my clientele, which
Yeah.
that was the part that I would have never passed on to someone I didn't like because
Yeah.
it took me years to gain these people's trust. And then I could have never, with a good conscience, passed them off to someone that I didn't feel like I had confidence that they were going to treat them right, work hard for them, all the stuff.
Yeah.
I couldn't have done it.
No.
It wasn't worth it.
I'm so glad to hear you didn't sell your name or anything because you created such a name and likeness for what you could do and the design of it all, like even outside of florals, just all of it. So
Yeah.
I'm glad you can keep that for yourself because you like what you built is insane. Like truly,
It's
truly.
neat to look back, when you're in the trenches of it, you just think like, I just want to go home.
Yeah.
I'm
And I
tired.
only know a small wedge of it. Yeah, like I don't know what,
Yeah.
from the basement of your parents' house, like I can conceptualize it, but yeah, for you, I can't even imagine how
You
much.
saw all the stuff we did, and people would always ask like, "Oh my gosh, how many people have you on your staff?" And I'm like, "Me and one other person and my mom." And they're like,
Mhm.
"What?" Like, I can't believe that.
Yeah.
But I was, as you know, I was very particular how everything was going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, to
Hmm.
me, I would rather work small and intentional than you just like turned into like a assembly line or whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the intuitive piece where I feel like you always brought that and you knew, like, yeah, maybe there wasn't a certain endpoint or something that you were going for, but you were like, this just doesn't feel right. Like, I'm not, we can't do that. We have to pivot. And yeah, I think that's huge. You have to like follow your gut, especially the business you built.
I
That
don't think it's actually hit me yet. I think so. I'm like, well, I'm still going back.
right. Yeah, because you still have events on the books. But yeah, after that
I mean, I
last
did
one,
say if it snows, I'm not coming.
yeah,
You guys are
I'm
on your
done.
own.
Figure that out.
And the new owners, I mean, they're like incredible where they were like, they respected those like contracts I still had. And so
Good.
they're like, you can work in the shop and, all the stuff. So I have a place to work when I go back and everything. So that's worked out really great.
Good. Yeah.
So, but it's like, okay, do I still got it? I did do like an event down here for a company in March. So that was at a like a
Nice.
gorgeous hotel. So we did
Oh
it
my
in my
God.
garage. It was like
Look at you.
back in the day. My mom and dad came down and we got like card tables out and did the whole gamut. And I felt like I was like 20 something again.
I bet. I bet it was like nice to get back into the rhythm and routine of it where it wasn't so like you didn't have a million other pieces to
Yeah.
figure out and navigate and you could just free flow a little bit or like it could
Yes.
look a little different.
So yeah, looking back, I mean, even looking back, so Jeremy found we were moving. He was changing jobs, and then it was a week later we found somebody to look for houses here.
Mhm.
We came down. We had Monday through Friday to find a house, and we didn't find
Crazy.
a house. We didn't find a house, and like nothing quite felt right. It was literally like Thursday. Yeah, it was Thursday night. We still hadn't found a house. And I'm like, I am not moving into an apartment.
Yeah.
I'm not moving twice. I don't want to. I was so bummed out. I was like, had this whole thing in my head of we want to do this. And so we, and then our realtor like kind of wanted us to be in North Carolina, but like I didn't know, like nothing felt right and everything. And I was like, this is no Southern charm in Charlotte. I
Mhm.
need some Southern charm. And so we like stopped the search for a second. And Jeremy and I went to Twin Peaks, which is basically like a mountaintop,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So we went there, got a couple beers, got an appetizer, got a cocktail napkin,
Mhm.
got a pen, went online and wrote down all of these houses we wanted to see down in South Carolina. So we like wrote these down, shot it to our realtor, and she set everything up on Friday. And then we drove around all these houses that night just to like get an idea of like the area. And so we like had like three or four circled that we wanted to see the next day. And so we saw one and it was like, yeah, that would be cool. That would be cool. It was like close to a tennis court, which I love to play tennis
Yeah.
stuff. And then we saw another one and then we found this one. And Jeremy and I still like joke about it. He's like, I don't even think I saw the whole house when we like looked at it because I was chasing you around because you were like bouncing all around. And then I like, I was like, yep, this is the house.
Mhm.
And then we like were in the kitchen, and my thing is I needed a spice cabinet. I hate not having a spice cabinet, and so I like the only drawer I opened in the kitchen. It was a spice cabinet. I'm like, this is my house. I'm like, I literally now I don't know. I think this is like not G rated, and I'm like, let's do this. Don't fuck it up.
Yeah. Accelerate, move it, move it.
You have like what other house to see? I'm like, I don't.
No.
This is the house. This
Yeah.
is the
What are
house.
you talking about?
And so we like that was Friday. We were leaving early Saturday morning to come back, and it was just so wild. And so that all fell into place. We get back to Findlay. We put our house up, list our house, or we sell it in like 6 hours.
Oh my
We sell our
God.
house there. And then like a week later, somebody comes to my business, wants to buy that. And then like
Serendipitous, serendipitous.
it
I
was
get it now, what you mean. Like all
wild.
of that.
it was just
Crazy.
wild how it all fell into place. And Jeremy like loves his job. And, obviously life is not perfect. I'm not like saying it's all like, a bed of roses.
Yeah.
And we do have challenges, but it's pretty neat to look back and be like, it all
Mhm.
fell into place.
I bet. Yeah,
So
you're right. Like in
it's been
such
wild.
that way where it was just like, and this happened, and this happened, and I'm sure, right, you're so
We
right.
couldn't even keep up with everything that was.
No, and you're just, I'm sure you guys were just like, oh my God, oh my God. Like, like, yeah, it's insane. And
Yeah,
all of those like pivotal moments along the way, to your point earlier, you don't have time to be nervous because
yeah,
one, tight timeline, so that always helps. But two, like, yeah, how could you not feel like this was what you guys were supposed to do at the time or just something worth trying? Because, yeah,
right.
those things that you never even thought would happen were happening.
Yes, yes.
That's
And like
amazing.
the other thing I had, which I look back and I still have her. So I have a life coach
Good.
I talk
Yeah.
to every week for 30 minutes.
Nice.
And she was huge in being like instrumental on like even visualization of like
Big fan.
big, like you
Big
can
fan.
basically like almost like visualize things to come to fruition.
Hmm.
And so we worked huge on that, on like, and I think that was also part of my healing was like really accepting that my body can heal and like seeing my body healed before it even was healed. And, just the whole moving thing. We went through the trenches on that, and it was so like calming and I believe powerful. So she was big on like, I believe that, back to like even doing events. I always tell people like, you want your event to go smooth, you already expect it to. You don't get anxious that something bad's going to happen. You already get excited that it already was great.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that we really worked hard on was in this process was don't get worried that things are going to go bad. Already visualize how wonderful it's going to go. And
Yeah.
that's been like pretty life
I
changing.
love that. Yes. Your brain is so your body is so
Yes.
powerful and is doing, I mean, I don't know how my kidneys are working right now, and I don't have to think about that. Like, how
Right.
insane. Like, that's kind of how I think about life sometimes, or like my body. I'm like, oh my God, my liver's doing something, and I don't know what it's
Yes.
doing, but it's working. Like,
Yeah.
how insane. But
Yeah.
then, like, yeah, your mind's always working like that too. The power of your mind that you can visualize things and then they happen. It maybe doesn't look exactly like how you envisioned it, but it still happens. Or like, I don't know. I think that it is all extremely powerful and it is sometimes can take a while to get there or figure that out or get comfortable with that. But once you can, it can, yeah, be so powerful. For me, it's been so healing or just like kind of comforting and stuff. So
Uh-huh.
I love that you have that support. I love that
Yeah.
you found
She's
that.
amazing.
It's how.
And so she's been like through a lot with me, but she's been like super instrumental, like getting me to like try to get back to like, because it was, this. I mean, I went through like pretty much hell personally,
Yeah,
and
to
all
say the least.
to
Like
say the least,
whatever anyone's thinking times 10.
like a Lifetime movie or like,
No, it wouldn't do it like an insane documentary, I think is
yes,
more the genre.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it was something. She got me through a lot.
Yeah,
And I believe that the mental, like what you said, your brain, your mental state, now my body, like, and I a lot of times held it all in. I think that's why my body was like imploding, like my nervous
shut
system was
down.
going out of control. But considering everything, I'm just like, it's incredible how like I look back and I'm like, I don't know how I made it through all of that and then continued to design and run a business. And like it's just like the journey has been humbling to say the least. Like when you go through a horrific divorce and all that came with it, that isn't normal. And then you like, I lost everything at one point. And then you fight to like run, to make your business to survive. And then you like, and then, you just, you try to hold on and not completely fall apart,
Mhm.
everything that's happening. And then I had the melanoma and then, getting sick. And what that has done to me it was awful. But then you look back and you're like, I love people differently now. And
I bet. Yeah.
and then my life coach is really like, even this morning, she's like, Gina, when you have a tough conversation, she goes, you know what the difference is between, how'd she say it? She's like, you know who's not having a tough conversation? And I was like, who? She goes, people that are dead. Because all you need to think about is, you know what? This may be a tough conversation or a tough situation, but I'm alive for it. And I'm just really grateful for that.
Yeah.
And that has been, I mean, as kind of silly as that is, or like trivial or whatever, it's like, yeah, there are days that are hard, or I still fight against certain things, or sometimes I am lonely.
Mhm.
And, because I don't have my family here and I don't have my business to keep me busy,
Mhm.
which that has been a huge like culture shock for me to like not go, 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 go. And then to like, sometimes I feel like, what am I doing? Like, am I even like
Mhm.
contributing to anything in the world right now? But I have to remember like, I'm where I'm at, exactly where I'm at for a reason right now.
Mhm.
But like, just to find some sort of joy in like every single situation, even when it's not a good one, but there's always something to
Yeah.
find good in that. And that has been humongous for me, for sure.
I can imagine. Well, and I mean, I don't know everything. But I hope you can start to see now how strong you are because of all of those things. How, yes, it was the trenches. I don't even know if the trenches are even like maybe worse than that. I don't know. But like you went through so much, and I feel like no matter what, there's a lesson that comes from it. Like it's maybe so shitty, so horrible, so like earth shattering, but who knows? Down the line, you can maybe help someone else, or maybe it just gives you this perspective that is you love differently now, or you can enjoy these different things,
Right.
enjoy your body, enjoy your mind, like any of those things. I don't know, but
You know
it's
what? I every day I take
crazy.
time to intentionally breathe, which is like wild. And
Yeah.
I like love it. And like how silly that would have been, like to how trivial that would have been. But like now it's like when you go through like hell and back, and then like as much as I loved my business, and when you go through a really hard time, sometimes you cling to the one thing that is normal.
Hmm.
And I held on to my like what I was doing, and I'm grateful that I poured everything into my business, but sometimes it became a little unhealthy to the point where like that was the only thing that felt safe,
Was in your control.
and you almost like burn yourself out a little bit
Hmm.
because you become obsessive over it because it's the only thing that feels safe. And so, part of that has been, yeah, like I obviously still put passion into everything, but I'm learning like the balance now. And like just the other day, I mean, I'm still doing what I'm doing. And my neighbor, she's like, "Will you help me with my pots?" And so I'm like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Can I rearrange your back patio?" Like, rearrange your back patio. And I'm like, "You need a new rug and you need, all this kind of stuff." And so
Yeah.
I'm learning to do what I'm still passionate and I love to do, but I'm starting to um I don't know, I can do it out of the kindness of my own heart right now, and
You
just
can do it for
loving on
fun.
people and
Yeah.
all the stuff. And so it's almost like I'm recalibrating all of that. And so that's been a big journey for me. But
I mean, I'm just so proud of you. I,
thank you. I
it's,
mean, you saw this. I didn't do it all well. There was times when I was a complete and utter train wreck, and I was just holding on for dear life. And I did, you look back, you're like, "Oh, I didn't like pay attention to that person," or whatever. You think like my pants were on fire the whole time, and you look back, but I can't change that, but I can learn from it, and
Mhm.
that's kind of where I'm at now.
Yeah. Well, yeah. First of all, I think we are always our biggest critic. So of course we think we
100%.
could have done it better or but we want it to look more perfect or whatever. But like, yeah, I really am so happy for where you're at
Yeah.
now and so proud. I guess all of I'm so curious. So I always love to ask everyone like what they're daydreaming about and what their dream world might look like. But I almost wonder if like the life you're living now is what is like a dream world that
Giving
you
it
weren't
chills.
sure happened. Like, is it, and maybe I'm putting words in your mouth, and please tell me if you're daydreaming about other things or what other things you're daydreaming about. But I almost feel like this is like a daydream that you didn't expect in some ways.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what my next chapter is going to look like. Like I can't stay home and garden forever all day.
I
So I
think
don't
you would
know.
go crazy
I
if,
don't know what I
even
want to
though,
do.
yeah.
I don't want to reinvent what I had again down here.
Hmm. Hmm.
I want to slow it down and be a bit more intentional, but I think like I do feel like I've been given this gift and I want to use it, but then it's like,
Yeah.
okay, maybe I want to do something else. I don't know. So like that, the next chapter is
Where
hard
your
for
head's
me.
at.
I don't
Yeah.
know because I'm really loving where I'm at right now. We bought a boat and I and I
Good.
and I want to learn how to sail. That's
Yeah.
I want to learn how to sail.
I feel like this would be such a fun time. Yeah, just try everything.
Yes.
Do insane hobbies or
Yeah.
like just try everything. Yeah, and see what happens. But yeah, you don't need to know what you're doing in the next
No.
5 years. I don't want someone to ask me that question.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm trying to do. No way.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Briefly, Jeremy is like super supportive. Like he's like, I don't want
good.
to hear you talk about what you want to do for your career until 2027. Get through your events this year.
Good.
I want
I
you to
love
get
that.
healthy, and then we'll figure that out when we get there. So he's embracing the journey with me, which is like huge.
Huge.
Um, but yeah, right now I'm like trying to be intentional about being grateful for where we're at right now. And quite honestly, like this is my dream life right now. I mean, it won't be forever. Obviously we talked about like you evolve and you would come up with like, oh my gosh, our one of our dreams is, and I hope that we want to do the Great Loop once he retires. We want to hopefully sell everything again, get a houseboat, and do the
Yeah.
Great Loop.
Oh my gosh, no way. Well, yeah, get that sailing. Start sailing and
Well,
everything now. Get all the
I love the
boat
water
knowledge.
and all the stuff. And so I'm like, that's one of our dreams. So we have
Love
like
it.
little dreams.
I don't think a lot of people even get to that part. So that's insane. That's huge.
Yeah. So I'm humbled and grateful for where I'm at right now.
I love it. I'm just so happy for
Thank
you.
you.
I know it's maybe, yeah, it's different. You're figuring it out, you're
Yeah.
navigating it, but like
It
that's,
is so not perfect, but it
I think
is.
I'm trying to think of life instead of like these events because I guess for me personally, like all of my friends getting married, having babies, buying houses, like doing all these things. And I'm like, I'm still the same person I was once I moved to
Yeah.
Chicago in a lot of ways, or like not much has actually changed like that. So I guess like sometimes I do feel like I should be in a different spot, or I'm like, why aren't these dates working out, or like
Yeah.
whatever. But I'm trying to like think of life. Maybe I'm embracing creativity in my own life a little bit more, but like life is almost like a work of art, I feel like, where it's like it's never perfect. You're always going to want it to be tweaking, but like, oh, the way the light hits it this way, maybe we mold things this way or we do that. I don't know, like it's always like I feel like maybe sometimes the best art is stumbled into by like some big accident or like some random thing. So I'm
Yeah.
trying to shift my perspective and life is a little bit like an art and we don't know why it's happening that way. There's no control, but you just kind of like flow and roll
True.
with the punches and
Yeah.
like whatever happens,
Well, I
happens.
mean, being down here, I mean, I have 4 kids, but they're not here. They come in June for, they're here all summer. So I'm so excited. Oh my gosh, I have all
That will
these
be,
projects I'm trying to do for them, and like we're
they're
so
going to love that.
so they're so pumped. So I've been back to Ohio a couple times to see them, and then they're
Mhm.
coming all summer long.
That
And
will be great.
but like you said, I mean, I'll go I'll go to tennis or I'll like be outside with the neighbors, and I see kids, I see parents, and it's kind of like you can get like, why did it work out like that for me? And
Hmm.
and like, and a lot of times I'll like talk to people that I feel like it's safe, and they'll ask me like, how's that going? And I'm like, you know what? I believe what I'm doing is going to be wonderful, big picture. I deep down in my whole soul believe this. And I have to be okay with those uncomfortable moments of like, I'm not a normal mom. I don't, I'm not, I don't have that day in and day out school thing happening anymore, like I did back in Finley. And so like, with my schedule, which shifted obviously significantly when I moved, it's been like really, really odd. But I do believe that I'm supposed to be here. And so I have to be like, okay with this is just the season that it is right now. Even though sometimes it's like you, like
Yeah.
you're not upset about it, but it's like,
Yeah, you can definitely overthink about it or make your brain go in a lot of different ways that
yeah,
you remind yourself how powerful your brain is.
yeah.
But
But
yeah,
it's like, no, like, I really like, I believe I'm doing like, we're talking big picture here. And
yeah,
I believe what I'm doing is going to be beautiful.
I think so too.
And I just have to like see that. And like, when the kids, they've already like, you seem different, mommy. And like, this summer is the first summer of their whole lives that I will be like 100% with like not working. Like I'll be with them. So I'm so excited for
It would
that.
be so
They've never
fun.
experienced that before. Obviously, like opportunities change and things change, but yeah, it's sometimes you feel like, okay, this, I don't like this, but I think that, it's more about, well, maybe it's my perspective at that moment. And if you change your perspective, it doesn't feel as icky anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Big picture might take some time. It's not maybe exactly what you thought right now, but that's okay. And like enjoy
Yeah. It
resetting
doesn't have to look
yourself
like
so
everybody
then you
else's
can
life.
be that mom for them in the summer when you
Yeah.
have them and it can be magical and different and maybe not magic all the time because like life,
Oh,
but
yeah.
it will be an experience that you've never had before in the best way. So,
Yeah, that is true.
yeah.
So it might not look like what everybody expects their life to look like, like the family suburbia life,
Get hence, yeah.
but it's my life and I really love it.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm happy. And
So I love
I
you
mean,
so
what a
much.
great way to end. Like,
Yeah.
Gina, I genuinely am so happy for you.
Thank you.
I'm so proud. And
Well,
I mean,
you have
thanks
been
for
such a
catching
huge
me up
part
with
of my life.
everything. I'm sorry.
You've been such a big part of my life. And
Oh,
like, oh my gosh, you got me through like a pretty dark time, just being like who you are.
mm.
So
Well,
yeah, you're
thanks.
amazing.
That means a
I love
lot.
that you're doing this. This is so cool.
It's my version of creativity right
I love
now.
it.
So yeah, I don't it's been so fun. And that was Gina's world. Like, I'll just be over here cheering Gina on, being so proud of her, and just so happy that things have happened in the way that they have, and that our paths even crossed, and that she's found all this support and is just navigating her life in the way that she is. I think it's incredibly inspiring, first of all. And like just shows how much strength women have, shows what how much someone can endure and still not only survive but like thrive and get to a better place, and just the power of people. The power of people. So I will be reflecting on that personally a lot, but also just like reflecting on all the fun memories, late nights, the fun events, all the dirt and mud and like sunscreen and sweat everywhere, glue, leaves everywhere. It was incredible. It was so fun and it was a great time in my life. So thank you again, Gina, for that. And thank you all for supporting me in this episode, in this podcast. If you would like to support any further, you can like, rate, review, subscribe, or follow wherever you're listening. Audrey's World is available on Spotify, on Apple, on iHeartRadio, and YouTube. So, yes, you can listen, you can watch, you can do both. In freaking incredible technology, huh? Yeah. You can also follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I'll say any more Instagram, a lot of podcast updates. You get to see photos, you get to learn more about the guest and hear more about and see a lot of the episode content. And TikTok is a little bit more me. It's a little bit more weird, it's a little bit more silly, and it's a little bit just off the cuff. So if you're interested in either of those personalities of mine, that's where you can find them. On Instagram, my handle is at underscore Audrey's World, ODDREY. And on TikTok, it's at Audrey's World, ODDREY. So thank you so much for tuning in today. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your support. And I'll be back again next Tuesday for another episode with another dazzling guest. Love ya. See ya then. Bye.